Subscriber asked, can I do a video on what to do when someone's misdiagnosed or undiagnosed and how to approach it? I'm not a doctor, but I do have a lot of mental health experience, college and whatnot. My recommendation to you is be super sensitive about it. Because when you're dealing with people that have undiagnosed mental illness, things like that, they can be really sensitive about it. My best advice to you is just to kind of hang back and observe for a little bit until you really decide what the best way to approach the situation. A lot of times if you just say to your girlfriend, hey, I think you're borderline, not bipolar, they're just going to take offense to it. You almost have to let people fight their own battles in this life, because they just get mad when you address something. Like recently, my BPD ex-girlfriend, I actually said to her that I thought she might be BPD. This was kind of bad timing because we were kind of in the middle of a breakup or whatever. But I was genuinely trying to bring attention to something that never had been brought attention to. I said, I think you're BPD because you go through love-hate cycles with me constantly. I mean, this has been going on for 5 or 6 years, where she's going to dip in and out of my life. She comes in my life, tells me she loves me, I'm the only man for her, and then the slightest trigger, she's right out the door. I won't see her for four months up to 2 years. There was 2 intervals. I didn't see her for 2 years at a time. The first 2 years, I hadn't seen her for 2 years, and then she hit me up, hey, want to Netflix and chill. The second 2 years, she was homeless in her car, hit me up. So she actually went 2 cycles of 2 years with completely ghosting me, not talking to me. She has a whole variety of things going on, but I have to be super sensitive about it in addressing her behavior, because she's just going to get super defensive. It's going to trigger her PTSD symptoms, because a lot of borderlines have PTSD. They can go into rage, which I think is linked to the PTSD and anxiety. So they can become extremely triggered very quick. And they're going to just put everything back on you and tell you it's your fault. BPD girls love to blame other people for their behavior. It's your fault I moved out of state. It's your fault we broke up. It's your fault for everything. They literally will put a magnifying glass on you as the boyfriend partner. Tell all their family that how much of a scumbag you are and an asshole. But keep in mind, guys, this is all mental illness in her mind. That's why you can't lash out at her. You can't verbally abuse her. You can't physically abuse her, because it's a mental illness. And she may not even be aware that she's doing these behaviors. I actually dated a borderline girl that had a lot of different symptoms. She was showing signs of schizophrenia because she was getting a lot of auditory stimulation in her mind, voices. She said her mother was trapped in her mind. But she also, and I think that might have been voices she was hearing that sounded like her mom. So there was a lot of undiagnosed mental illness going on there, but she was the type of girl, if I had brought up anything, she would just lash out at me. She would flip out, blame everything on me. And then the other girl that I dated that was borderline would have done the same thing. If I had gone up to her and said, honey, I think you're borderline, blah, 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 or this or that, she would just flip out on me. So you're almost better off to approach it maybe with your ex-girlfriend or whatever. Let's say they come in your life, they say they want to be friends again, they say they want to start hanging out again. Why don't you say, hey, why don't we go to counseling as friends to try to work on our issues and really discover what we're dealing with? I think if you approach it that way, say, hey, partner, would you like to go to couples counseling together? That way you're not just putting the blame on them, saying, hey, I think you're BPD. Hey, I think you're bipolar. Hey, I think you're schizophrenic. Because they're going to be like, well, you're not a doctor. How do you know? So I think the better way to approach it is to go to counseling as a group, you and your partner, and just maybe be open. Maybe that's a time where you guys can be open about issues. Hey, Sally, in counseling. Hey, Sally, I just want to bring up in front of the counselor, you told me this week you've been hearing voices. Can we talk to him about that? And can you explain to him what's going on? That might lead to a schizophrenic diagnosis. Hey, Sally, in counseling, you're in counseling with her. Hey, Sally, can you tell the therapist about how you punched me in the face this week? That might be a symptom of bipolar or BPD. Keep in mind, you got to be careful what you say to these counselors, because if you tell them that you killed somebody or you're going to kill somebody, they have to report it. So there's certain things they have to report. Like if you say you're going to kill yourself, they may have to report that to keep you safe. And again, if you're feeling suicidal, please reach out to a suicidal helpline, or call a family member, a friend, or somebody that you know. There's people out there that care about you that you don't realize. I know even if I was to take my life right now, there'd be a lot of people that were upset, even at my job. I'm very helpful at my job. They would be like, oh my God, this was one of the only guys that was helping us at work. So you're really important to a lot of people that you don't even know. And the way I approach my life is I just try to be a blessing to people. And I kind of say, hey, maybe I'm living more for others than myself. Maybe I'm living for my sister who has disabilities, who constantly needs me. She says she needs me all the time. She comes to see me. We go out for coffee. I lend her money, things like that. So you're more of a blessing than you think to other people. So that's the best way you can approach it with your BPD girlfriend, friend. A lot of these girls don't want to say boyfriend because it scares the shit out of them. But that's how you approach misdiagnosed mental illness or undiagnosed mental illness, is not to really be direct about it and say, hey, I think you have bipolar. Hey, I think you have BPD. Hey, I think you were misdiagnosed. If the friend really wants to be in your life, why don't you say to them, hey, as a condition of us being friends, if you really value this friendship, I want to go to counseling with you, even if we're just going to be friends. If we're going to be hanging out, maybe we could benefit from going to a counselor and talk about some of the issues that have caused problems in the past. Like, for example, the girl that's, come in and out of my life, dipped in and out of my life, broken my heart a million times. What would be wrong with me saying to her, if she really wanted to try to make things work, hey, I'm only going to make things work if we go to couples counseling and talk about things, because this love-hate cycle just keeps happening. But you got to be careful. You don't want to throw it in their face because they're just going to get defensive. So that's my best take on how to approach a misdiagnosed mental illness or undiagnosed mental illness. Until next time, please tune into this video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. Check out some of my merch in the description. I'm going to have a nice wolf shirt in the description, my Amazon wolf shirt that I designed. Until next time, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Catch you later. Bye.